Pues está claro, Sergio, como siempre, muchísimas gracias. Vamos ahora a ver cuáles son las otras tendencias en el mercado de inversión, en el mundo de la inversión y en los mercados financieros. Contamos hoy con Bernstein, concretamente con Vivek Bommi, responsable de las estrategias de renta fija europeas en Bernstein. Vivek, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being in Negocios Televisión.
Thank you for your time.
We're going to speak today about your European income portfolio. How does this portfolio aim to balance duration and credit risk in the European fixed income markets? Could you provide more details, Vivek, on the specific strategies or techniques used to achieve this balance?
Sure. We think that having a combination of some duration and credit risk in the portfolio leads to a better outcome for clients. We do this by, one, deciding on a duration band to put in the portfolio. So we generally run the duration of the portfolio between 4 and 6 years. And having that duration is like an insurance policy that helps offset some of the risk we're taking in the other part of the portfolio, which is on the credit side. So on the credit side, we're allocating between investment grade and high yield. And at certain points in the market and certain parts of the valuation, we are allocating to, say between 35 and 49% high yield, with the remainder being in investment grade debt. It's by balancing all of these together that we help drive a good total return for clients, but also being able to be flexible, especially when markets are moving very fast. We can adjust the duration up and down, and we can adjust the credit quality up and down. A good example of that is earlier this year, we were running a duration close to 4 years. And as rates started to increase, especially in Europe on the German with 10-year, we started increasing our duration as well. And you saw as rates came off that we were able to take advantage of that and drive that total return for investors. Lately, we've also been taking our high yield risk down. So we were sort of adding into high yield into the big sell-off last year. And we've been reducing our high yield risk within the portfolio, and we're closer to 40% now. And that's based on a view of, if you have periods of markets of volatility, we're able to go in there and increase the allocation and help drive that performance.
Vivek, in what ways does a European income portfolio offer higher yield and lower duration compared to the Euro aggregate? It would be helpful to understand the specific instruments or investment approaches used within the portfolio to achieve higher yield while maintaining also lower duration. How does it differ from the Euro aggregate in terms of composition and risk management?
Yes. So, the Euro aggregate takes all government debt and all investment grade debt together, and that is sort of your overall aggregate. The duration is longer of that portfolio and of that index, and it's not dynamic. So it's basically a 7-ish year duration index that has like an A+ rating, and it's generally static in that view. Our portfolio seeks to be dynamic in its allocation to duration. We never go so low, so it's not a type of fund that can go negative or really even like it will go to 0 in duration. We're generally between 4 and 6 years. And from a credit quality perspective, we can go into high yield and come out of high yield as well and be flexible from that approach. So that's how it's sort of different from the ag. But the other thing with this portfolio is, on average, it has to be rated investment grade as a total. So right now, our credit quality within the portfolio is BBB. So it's still investment grade rated. It's just slightly lower investment grade rated than the ag index.
Let's go back to the market, Vivek. What is your current opinion on interest rate cuts? Is the market exaggerating the extent of policy change for the Federal Reserve, for example?
I think so. So I think, look, there's 2 ways to look at the forward market. That one, the market participants really do believe a rate cut is coming shortly, or there's an 80% chance that the Fed really doesn't do anything, and a 20% chance that they cut very aggressively because of a problem that has occurred in the system. I mean, so you saw that occur when you saw some of the banking issues occur in the US, and now that's sort of eased as people are realizing it's not really becoming a systemic problem yet in terms of banking. So I do think that, in terms of market participants or just looking at forward curves, it's probably overestimating the reality of what a rate cut will be. I don't foresee personally a rate cut occurring in Europe or the US this year.
What is the current outlook, Vivek, for global growth, considering the prolonged impact of restrictive monetary policy?
I mean, look, I think over time you will have economic activity start to slow. And while you're starting to see it, it's not slowing enough for inflation to really come down to that 2% target. So you saw yesterday in the US, while overall inflation was lower and core inflation is still ticking lower, it's not quite to 2 to 3%, because you haven't had the full effect of rates to fully see the restrictiveness of the economy. So while that's occurring, it's not occurring very quickly. And so over time, you will start seeing, as PMIs start coming down, economic activities start to roll over, but it may be slow to do that.
Vivek Bommi, responsable de las estrategias de renta fija europeas en Alliance Bernstein, thank you so much for being in Negocios Televisión. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Bueno, pues nos decía Vivek, entre otras cosas, que el mercado está, en su opinión, exagerando la posibilidad que hay de que la Reserva Federal haga un cambio muy brusco en su política monetaria y que veamos ya una bajada de tipos este año. Dice que, en su opinión, esta bajada de tipos no llegará en 2023 y que, como digo, el mercado está exagerando un cambio de política en la Reserva Federal. Reserva Federal que se reúne esta tarde, bueno, se reúne en el día de hoy, se reunió también ayer, pero esta tarde ya tenemos la decisión de tipos de la Fed. ¿Veremos una pausa en la subida de tipos o continuará la Reserva Federal con ese camino al alza en el precio del dinero? Cosa que sería, desde luego, toda una sorpresa para los mercados, que ya dan más de un 95% de probabilidad al hecho de que hoy Jerome Powell, presidente de la Fed, pueda decir adiós, hasta luego, quizá por el momento, a esas subidas de tipos de interés. Vamos a mirar ahora otros